And last week he went back to 6 assignments.
Oh,
Well,
I think I managed the past couple of weeks' work okay, like better than most weeks.
yeah, especially when it's just 4.
Well, yeah, he's giving us those reading assignments.
Right.
We just have to
It
fill out
gives
the
you a
blanks.
page.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty nice. If they were word for word, they'd be better, but.
Yeah, it beats around the bush a lot, and then you have to be like, oh, this is what it really meant. But, yeah.
Ooh, so you guys will be happy about Thursday.
What happens there?
So Thursday, let me look at this. So because we covered all of chapter 6 last week, we can go ahead and move forward a little bit. Today I want to review your semester project with you. And then Thursday is a work day. Class won't meet Thursday. That's right? Today's Tuesday.
And then I'll go home.
Yeah.
No,
I love
I gotta
those
work.
days.
Oh man,
I
you
still have
know.
to work on this too, but I love when that happens.
Yeah. Okay, so you can use that time to either start working on your project, or you could go early vote, or you could nap, whatever priority you have to make that day.
Any plans I make to nap, I never nap.
Yeah, naps need to be spontaneous to be best. So this week, you don't have a regular test. All you have is a current events test. And it's right in this folder, the week of October 19th. You go there, and that's literally the only thing in the folder. There are 4 questions on it. And I'll mention some of those things today. Actually, let's take a look at it.
I turned in some, I think it was one late assignment last week.
Okay. I haven't graded it, I'm sure.
I didn't know, it said that it was already graded.
It said it was graded?
Yeah, but I didn't turn it in, so I thought that since it was past the due date, I missed the chance to get it in. So I was going to talk to you about that, but I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, last Thursday or Tuesday, I was home sick, and
Yeah.
I attended your online thing.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask a question, but I couldn't. I typed it in the wrong chat box, and
Gotcha.
by the time I figured out where I was supposed to type, it had already ended the thing.
Oh,
So
sorry. Yeah.
And, yeah.
So,
it was a journal, I believe. The one about the Facebook. It was the Facebook one.
okay. And it shows that it was graded?
Before I turned it in, yes, ma'am.
That's odd.
I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna turn it in, see what happens.
Okay, yeah. And I haven't looked back in there since last
Okay.
week, so I'll get in there and look around and see what happened.
Well,
Thank you.
because I do my work, but some of it is late because it's new. That's not an excuse, but it happens.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, life happens. Life gets in the way of a lot of stuff, so.
Just slacking.
This weekend. So the laptop went out of town with Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And my nephew is under quarantine right now.
So you couldn't, yeah.
I went to my dad's house to use my nephew's computer.
Yeah.
But I was able to borrow my sister's laptop.
Gotcha.
So I tried to cram in as much work as I could, like Saturday night and Sunday night after work.
Yeah. That's hard. It's hard to do all that. Yeah.
Now there's a second laptop. I was going to tell you about that.
Oh,
We
good.
talked about that.
Yeah.
I was looking for one. I only found one.
Awesome.
Now there's a second one. She's got her own Chromebook to where she can do her virtual school stuff.
That's awesome. Makes a big difference.
Already.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still out of town, but I'm ready for her to come back and she can take that one.
Yeah, you have yours.
Yes.
Awesome.
So I remember
Yes.
you saying, like as long as we work.
As long as you do the work by the deadline.
As long as you do work by the deadline, and then if it's like a little late, how does that work? I forgot what you said.
Okay. So what I had to do this semester because of COVID, and because if you feel bad, I don't want you to come to class. And a lot of students will come to class even if they feel bad, or if they're running a fever or something like that. because they don't want to miss class. And because in the past, we've had some pretty strict guidelines on attendance. And, so this year, because of COVID, some of us started looking at those requirements a little differently. I'd rather you stay home and be healthy and not worry about missing class when you can watch it later, or you can get the notes online, you can do the work online, whatever. So, but the tendency then that has come with that from some other classes is that people will just like forget about it because it's out of sight, out of mind. And then midterm grades came up and everybody was freaking out. Why do I have a bad grade? It's because you haven't done any of the work, So if you've missed anything at all this semester, you can go back and make it up until October 30th.
Oh, okay.
After October 30th, I'm going to start asking for some documentation, show me that you were out, or that you were out sick, or, you guys are great. So shoot me an email and let me know I'm out sick. I'll have this to you next week. I'm good with that. To me, that's documentation for you guys for sure.
The way that my schedule is, or the way that I've been attending this class specifically, is I'm trying to come to every single Tuesday class.
Yeah.
Because after your class, I just go home. But
cool.
On Thursdays, I have Comp 2, Worldcom, and it would be your class, but I use that time at the lunch break, and I have the 2-hour biology class.
Oh, gee, yeah.
So,
and that's good because Thursdays are the days that we have like discussions.
That's why I feel like I miss some things. So whenever we're talking about the current event stuff, I don't know what we're talking about. So I do the work. I've done everything that has been assigned except for like one or two of the discussions at the beginning of the semester because it's confusing. But
yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Some of it has been late. So I was just wondering about that aspect of it, and you just said that we can go back and do all of it until this certain date.
Yeah, till the 30th.
So if
that keeps you from approaching finals week going, I missed something the first week of school, kind of make that up. So there's an urgency at least now to get that part done.
But if we had that assignment last week in the Facebook journal, and I didn't turn it in until 2 days after it was due, is that just a 0?
No.
Okay.
No. If you do it and turn it in, I'm going to count it. And I haven't looked in there, so, you're ahead of me.
I try my best not to get anything in the week.
Yeah.
I'm on top of my stuff most of the time.
Yeah.
But this semester's been...
It's a weird semester for everybody.
Like in Comp 2, Mr. Thompson, he's really lenient on his things. And Mr. Weatherly was not like that.
Right.
So it's kind of weird having Comp 1, having a really strict academic writing class, and then going to Mr. Thompson's Comp 2 class, which I thought it was going to be a lot harder. Like I thought I was going to have Mr. Weatherly, it was going to be similar class, but it was harder.
Yeah.
But his teaching style is completely different.
Right.
It's more creative writing and poems and short stories.
Yeah.
The complete opposite of what I had the first semester. And he's really lenient with his stuff.
So what did you cover in Comp 1?
We covered like MLA.
Okay.
What to do, what not to do in academic writing.
Okay.
Not using a lot of personal opinions, and just writing really cleanly.
Okay.
And having everything be neat and right. But my problem is always not getting enough words on the page.
Oh, yeah, right.
But it was still, I passed the class. I got it. I understood it. But it's just complete opposite side in Comp 2.
Those are two very different classes, and that 1 and 2 kind of are misleading. Because
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because you would think that take 1 and then 2 is harder. Yeah. But it's really part 1 and part 2, not start here and grow to this. So in Comp 1, you're going to do that formatting stuff and how to write. And then in part 2, you're going to focus more on analyzing. So you're reading more, you're writing more, and, about the stuff, So two very different things. So that's why you're going from something very strict, which is strict, to something very open because it's creative.
Yeah,
If that makes
I feel like
sense.
that could have came before academic rating. And you're the first person to tell me that
Yeah.
that's the difference. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the difference in high school. If you were taking like high school Englishes, if you were taking a pre-AP or an AP course, you'd have AP English language and AP English literature. So two different things, different concepts.
Yeah.
But that's why it's different.
Okay. And it's not,
And he's laid back, yeah.
Yeah, I had him for Comp 1, and I probably would not have survived this semester.
Yeah.
Trying to keep up with all the essays and everything else.
yeah, because we had a rough draft due last week.
Yeah.
And normally I'd be on top of it, but he said, don't let it stress you. It's okay. And like every day we come to class, he says, be sure to get that rough draft in soon. And
Yeah.
that makes me think, okay, I have time.
Yeah.
Okay, I have time.
Right.
I'll get it done. We have time. But then, the actual due date comes up, and next day he's been like, oh, I've caught up on all your grading, and everything that wasn't turned in was 0.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten any zeros yet, but
Yeah, you got to stay a step ahead.
yes.
This is a step ahead of the grading, for sure. And we all grade on different schedules.
Yeah.
So there's
Because
that.
He has all of his Comp 1, Comp 2 things.
Yeah.
I think that's an advantage for us.
Right. Yeah.
I need to get off topic.
Oh, no, that's okay. It's good to talk about. Your current events test this week, there are only 4 questions. And when you say that you're missing current events when you don't come to class, technically you're not, because you can look those up. Some of those I try to record. Some of them haven't recorded because I didn't push stop recording before I ended the session, and then it just disappeared. So, yeah, look them up. I mean, that's how you find out what's going on. So, and that's why it's designed that way. So if you miss, look it up and you'll find it. One of the things I wanted to tell you about this test, there are some things that are a little different that you'd need to look up. So one of the questions is explain what Arkansas Issue 2 is on the November ballot, what it wants to change and how it would change. In order to look that up, you would go to, there are a couple of places actually. There's the University of Arkansas Extension System, which I think is uaex.org. Anyway, they give a ballot download so that you can look to see what each issue is and what it's about and the change that it wants to make. Also, ballotpedia.org is another resource to go to that lists it as a website. You don't have to download or open anything else. It's got a little less information, but it has some information. Also, because when we talk about current events right now with the presidential election going on, we tend to focus on that. There are things going on all around us that you should be aware of. I know for sure Jacob doesn't live in Melbourne. You do. Brady lives around here. So this is probably less important to less important to Jacob, but it's still important to know how to find the information. So one of the questions is to name the architect who is redesigning the Malvern Police Department. And we're looking for a first and last name there. You can do that as a Google search, or you can go to the Photo Library website and go to the newspaper databases, look up the Malvern Daily Record, some September issue, and it's in there. So you can do that.
Tear down the building, or are they going to use the shell and just change the inside? Or does the paper actually tell that?
I think it goes into that a little bit. What they're going to be doing is they're going to use it's wide open inside, so they're going to have to create some offices in there. So yeah, we'll have to create some stuff like that. Also, when does the city council meet? We're looking for a particular day of the month, like the first Thursday or the second Tuesday or whatever that is. And the city of Malvern has a website, so you could go get it from there. And question 4, what is QAnon? You guys to look that up and figure out what QAnon is. Yeah, that's the smallest one on here. It's like, all the others are huge. Like, where did question 4 go? But there he is. What is QAnon? So just to kind of give you an idea what that's all about. So let's go back to course content, because I want to show you where you can find this information about your semester project. Semester project is going to be in place of your final. You're going to have time to work on it, not just this coming Thursday, but also I think it's the week before Thanksgiving. Let me see. Yeah, the week before Thanksgiving, class won't meet, but I do expect a rough bibliography that Sunday. And I'll explain to you what that'll be in just a minute. And then finals are due Monday, December 7th. So I'll give you some time to work on stuff. So let's look at the semester project details. Again, another class asked about this. I don't think you guys did, but I want to explain to you just in case. When you see these letters and numbers in parentheses, you guys don't have to really concern yourselves with that. It's MSLO1, ISLO2. Those are, you'll hear them referred to as ISLOs, Institutional Student Learning Outcomes, or Modular Student Learning Outcome, Program Student Learning Outcome, and C is for Course Student Learning Outcome. Those are codes that we use to connect the learning materials to the, there we go, thank you, the learning materials to our goals for you as a student. You know, we want all students to leave with being able to communicate well and to have soft skills and all that stuff. So these things are code that relate back to our goals for you guys, and it's basically for HLC accreditation. We include those now. They just seem a little more prominent here because of their type size. So the purpose of this is to help you relate material learned from the course to present day events, which is the whole goal of your history classes here at this level, to make a connection from the past to the present. Under reading assignment is where you'll find these notes that we're about to go over. So your semester project will demonstrate at least one of the ways early civilization advancements still affect your life. And I put in here, what does that mean? Or more importantly, what must you do to earn an A? Everything I give you guys instruction-wise is assuming you want to earn an A. I found out that's not true for everybody. So some people will give you the guidelines for making a C or better in the class. So I want to give you guys, I want you to make A's. So I'm going to give you the guidelines for making an A. If you choose to make a C, that's okay. You do less, you know, but I'm not going to give you the guidelines for making a C. So here's what we do. You'll select a current news story that is no older than January 1st of this year. And you'll relate that to an event from early civilization that we've studied in this time period through the 16th century. If we haven't studied it yet, you know, something that we will study, or something that's in this time period that we haven't gone over in great detail. You know, we don't really have time to go through these wars like I'd love to do because they're so technical and so detailed. So if you wanted to say, compare something to a Peloponnesian War, that would fit, even though we didn't really cover it in great detail. You have to cite all your sources too. This is going to be an MLA format citation. Your sources, source-wise, you won't need a lot of sources. I'm looking more for a critical thinking activity here. So you'll use your textbook or lecture notes from the class if you didn't buy the textbook or if you've returned the textbook or whatever. You can use your lecture notes. Just report or cite the lecture notes as if they were an article, because they have a title. It's chapter 8 or chapter 4 or whatever. And for the creator of that, you just leave that blank, because sometimes the notes, I start with the template that the book provides, but then I add additional information. So it's not correct to say that either of us are the author of those slides. So you have to use the slides instead of the book.
And this is in place. This is our final.
This is your final.
So we're already halfway through.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Doesn't seem like it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't occur to me that we just had our biology midterm.
Yeah, your midterm grades are posted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
last semester, I keep forgetting that I didn't have a full semester.
Yeah.
I forget that.
Yeah, we left in March. I mean,
Yeah, I still had like a month and a half left.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
forget that I didn't have it. It feels like I had a full semester, but
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was very
That's not
different.
mine, so,
There we go.
sorry, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Already have-
So, yeah, this is for your final. And I want to give you plenty of time to work on it. So you'll use your book or the slides as a source, and you'll use your article that you find, your news article, as a source. If you want to add another couple of sources, that's okay. You can add as many sources as you want, but you need at least 2, the book or the slides and your news source. I'm going to show you an example, so all this will make sense in just a minute. And like I said, I know you can find sources. I'm more interested in your thought process, which always unnerves people. So don't let that unnerve you.
So you're looking for
I'm looking for your critical thinking skills and conceptual thinking skills. So here's how it comes about. So I've got some really specific things here. Page 1 is your title page. It tells you exactly what has to go on there. You can decorate it if you want to. I'll show you a sample in a minute, so I'm not going to read that out to you. You can read that on your own. Page 2 is a current news event. Provide an image of it and a link to it if you get it from an online source, which most people do. But if you were to get your source from a newspaper, you could take a picture of that article or a screenshot or whatever, however you want to do that. I need to be able to read the article one way or another, either by link or by a photo of the article or a scan of the article or something. And again, the article can't be any older than this year, January 1st. It's got to show the article's headline, the writers, if they're available, the publication date, and if you can link it online, you should include a hyperlink. And I'll show you this. It sounds way more complicated than it is. Number 3 is when you summarize the article by outline. This summary is an answer of who, what, when, where, how, and why, which should be covered in the article pretty readily. You should be able to pull that out just from reading the article. And then you include a brief paragraph summary of the article. Page 4 is 1 to 5 paragraphs explaining why you're interested in this topic. Because the first year we did this, I got a paragraph of 3 sentences. I now say I need at least 10 sentences. 10 sentences. I'm not telling you they have to be compound, complex sentences or anything like that. This is in English. I need 10 well thought out sentences that explain why you're interested in this topic. Page 5 is the history event that you're relating your article to. And you have to answer the same questions there: who, what, when, where, how, and why. I need to get a drink. I talked all last period without doing this, so that's why I'm doing it here. Hold on just a second. Okay, tea.
You all right?
I got my tea now. Okay, I'm ready. Sorry about coughing in your ear, Brady. Brady's listening online too. So, okay, so relatable history outline. You should be able to answer that who, what, when, where, how, and why. And some of that will be similar, one way or another, to your news article. Not exactly the same, but similar. Page 6, you explain how your history event connects to the current news event. Page 7 is your sources page. So you can call it works cited, you can call it resources, you can call it reference. I always refer to it as bibliography, just because history usually uses a different format for research other than MLA, but I'm not pushing that until next semester, and I'm expecting things to be better in COVID. So I was going to do it last spring. Everybody kind of started to panic when I mentioned a different writing style, paper style. So I was like, I don't want to push it. I'm glad I didn't because of COVID, but we'll do that in the spring. Not to scare anybody away. It's a good thing to learn. What's your major, Crystal? What are you studying?
I'm not even sure.
Okay. What's your, okay.
Well.
I thought one of you guys.
But I think we'll be getting qualification.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it's like, I'm thinking about this, but I'm not 100%.
There is a film program that they have here going on in summer.
Here?
Yes, which I couldn't take last summer because I think I was working and I didn't apply in time, and I knew after the fact anyways.
A film program?
Yes. Like a film, well, I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's a film, more like a film appreciation.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But it's still film, and that's what I wanted
Gotcha. So you'd be analyzing.
to try to do.
Yeah. Talk to me after class. I haven't talked to you about film already. I talked to you about film already? Okay, yeah. Okay, cool.
I want to do something with that.
I thought one of you guys was history. Maybe I'm just thinking that because you were in Arkansas history in the spring. So anyway, history, you would have to know another format. If you go into nursing or psychology, you're going to know APA. If you do history, you're going to work in Chicago Cherubian style. So that's what I want to introduce, but this time we're not going to do that. We're going to stick with just straight old, plain old MLA. Use 12-point font, doubled space with the first line indent of 0.5, no space after return. Does any of that sound like familiar to y'all, or is that crazy talk?
Space after.
Does that make sense? Okay. So you can use larger type on your title page if you want to, and on your headlines if you want to. I'm not messed up about that. But all of your type should be 12 point if you're, the body of all of this. So your due dates. I do not yet have in Blackboard, but there will be inside the little folder that says semester project. There will be a research topic discussion board that I'd like for you to put your research topic in by November 8th. Then I want a rough draft bibliography, which is also the same thing as works cited, by November 16th. Because usually what happens is people wait till last minute to start on it. Well, last minute for us this year is going to be Thanksgiving break. If you wait until the week before it's due, I don't know that you'd have a lot of time to do it well. You'd obviously miss 2 deadlines that are going to count against you. So it's important to do the work along. Now, remember, you only really have to have 2 sources. So really all I'm asking you to do by November 16th is to find your news article and to find your place in the book that you're going to use, or the place in the slides that you're going to compare it to. And because our final would be from like 10 to noon on Thursday, December 7th, your project will be due in Blackboard by noon on Thursday, December 7th. So you won't even have to come to class for that. You can just upload it. If you want to come to class just to say hi, come on. Either way. Normally we could do a party or something, but since we can't have food, So let me show you a sample of this stuff. And that's under lecture notes sample pages or sample projects. Both of these are A papers. They were both written at different time periods, so they'll look a little differently. Let me start with this one because it's so simple. I just downloaded it again. The one thing about this one, I put this together as a sample page or a sample project, and the very last page, the sources are not correct. I mean, I linked the whole thing, which is okay. I say they're not correct. That'll work. I didn't put the date or anything with this, but anyway. So I wanted to show you that that's not 100% accurate, but so like I said, both of these would be considered A papers. This one's mine, I made as a sample. There's my title page. Here's my first page that shows the article I'm examining. And this was from a 2017 article about Harvey Weinstein. Weinstein? Spelling-wise, it should be Weinstein, but I think we say Weinstein. Anyway. And there's the link, so I could click on it to read it. And here's my news outline. And I do the who, what, when, where, how, and why. So who, Harvey Weinstein, what, sexual assault and sexual harassment, when, for at least 2 decades, where, within his company and at hotels where he conducted business, how, he used his power as a Hollywood producer as extortion to convince women to give in to his sexual desires. Why did it happen? Women didn't talk about it openly, and no one filed a complaint. So then here's my 1-paragraph summary about the news article, which just said that Harvey Weinstein was a successful Hollywood producer who used his power to get sexual favors from women who worked for him and some of the most beautiful and talented women in the world. He abused his power without regard for how he treated actresses. The fact that he got away with it for so long indicates that there is a culture of accepted abuse against talented women, these talented women, basically women in general. The article says that employees knew of inappropriate behavior but never reported it, which aligned with Weinstein's code of silence that he referred to as keeping the peace. At the date the article was published, Weinstein had paid off at least 8 complaints by women. So that's 1 page, brief summary about the article. Then I have a page telling why it's interesting to me. And basically I say, 1, I'm female and I have a teenage daughter, so I'm concerned about women's rights and equality and the sexual harassment that she might have to face in her lifetime. And then I go through that. Then I mention that, and while it's easy in retrospect for us to demonize Weinstein for his alleged lewd behavior, it's important to remember that not all men are like him. I think that's something that people make broad generalizations sometimes, and they start lumping men into the same pot, or women. But in this case, with this movement that arose from Harvey Weinstein's crimes, that it seemed like all of a sudden men were vilified on a larger degree. So, and you guys will never hear me really say anything specifically for or against a political person other than FDR and Hoover. I'll be pretty for and against one of those, but especially a current candidate. But here I agreed with President Trump, when he said that Weinstein deserved due process. Because what happened in this case is as women started coming out with their stories that needed to be heard, their accusations against him, that we sort of start having this court of public opinion where people are appalled, and we've already decided he's guilty before his case went to court. So I think that it's important, and I note here that I think it's important to remember that while the victims do deserve to have their voice, that the accused deserves to have due process, and that as a country we need to find that balance. And I think that what's tipping that balance is social, or not social media, but media in general. So I say all that on that page. The next page is my relatable history object, and I do the who, what, when, where, how, and why for a brief excerpt that we have in the book on page 61 of the play Medea by Euripides. So this play is about the plight of women, how they were treated in Greek culture, and women were seen as inferior to men, which to me kind of ranked back to that whole Weinstein thing. He was able to get away with this for so long because women were seen in this subservient role. Not only were they seen in it, but women had accepted it for so long until somebody got mad enough to say, this is wrong. And they stood up for themselves, and more women started coming out and saying, it happened to me too. So here, it just really simple. The excerpt on page 61 of our class textbook gives a glimpse into a woman named Medea. In the play, Medea gives the reader a look at what it was like to be a woman in ancient Greece. Then here's where I explain more about Medea and how it relates to the article. And one line in the excerpt says that women are the most unfortunate creatures. Weinstein's victims were also unfortunate creatures. They were nothing more than that to him. They were merely female creatures who understood a degree of subordination to him, and he abused that degree of subordination. Then I compared the victims to Medea, and about Greek women entering marriage, which was a contractual agreement and not based on love at all, which was a lot like his situations where I'll give you a movie contract if you do this for me now. Let's see, what else? So in the play, Medea is vengeful. She poisons her husband's new wife. Am I getting that right? Anyway, and her husband is Creon. So she poisons Creon's daughter, and the poison is so powerful that when he hugs his dead daughter, his body absorbs the poison and kills her too. And then she ends up killing her children before she flees. Anyway, obviously this didn't happen in the case that I'm comparing to, but she got her revenge like the women who came out against Weinstein are getting their revenge too. They did it by speaking up and killing his hopes of continued behavior. And then there's my source page. So not a lot of research involved, just some thinking involved. The other one, which is really more interesting, is called Nothing New, Hating in the Name of Jesus, which I thought was interesting. So there's the article she used, an article about the Klan from NBC News. And she does her who, what, where, when, how, and why about the news article. She does her, I think I cut out the interest page, did I? I think I did. So there is an interest page, I've just omitted it here. Relatable history guideline shows who, what, when, where, how, and why. She talks about how the Crusades were used to justify killing some people, just like we have white supremacy justifies killing some people. So she compares those two, which I thought was kind of interesting to compare Christianity and white supremacy. So anyway, and then she has her sources here. So, and she used more than two. You're welcome to use more than two. Like I said, for me, it's more about your thought process. What can you connect from the past to today? Is that pretty self-explanatory after a lot of reading a bunch of unnecessary stuff? Okay. You guys have any questions about that? Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, sure. So next time we won't have class, so you can kind of start exploring. The best place, don't use Wikipedia as a news source. It's not. Also, Reddit is not a news source ever. Even though it's a fun place to go and to read stuff, just never. The best places to go would be standard news sites, not news commentary sites. So stay away from Fox and CNN. Stick with stuff like Associated Press or NBC, ABC, CBS. When you post your discussion topic that you're thinking about using, I'll let you know if I see a problem with it. That's why I want it early enough to give you a little feedback. So generally speaking, what has happened in the past is that someone found an article that they wanted to use, but it was an opinion article, not a news article. So by noting that up front, we were able to find a news article on the very same topic that they were still able to use. So anyway, so not hard, not a super hard research project, but it is a relational project where you have to connect two things. So if you have any problems with it, let me know. Go back to here. So we won't be meeting on Thursday. If you guys have any questions, then let me know between now and then. Is there anything else we need to go over today? Look at that. I think that's it for today. Back to here. There we go. Oh yeah, your current events test. Just don't forget that. It's in the folder called Week of October 19th. Alrighty. Anybody got anything else? Nope. Okay, we're finished. See you, Brady.